Welcome back to the Grand Solar Minimum channel. Today is Wednesday, May 22nd, 2019. Thanks for joining us tonight. I want to send a special thank you to Mari today for keeping us updated with the severe weather outbreak that we've experienced here across the Central Plains over the past several days. Let's go ahead and start into our space weather section of our news tonight. A solar wind speed sitting at 343.9 kilometers per second with a density hitting at 7.0. Once again, our sun is blank. This will put us at 3 days in a row now, 77 days for 2019 without sunspots, 54% of the year. And we will check out our KP indices and other stats over here at the grandsolarminimum.com. Again, we're hanging around the 1 KP level, 24-hour max of a 2. And not much happening right now on our star. We have a little bit of a coronal hole that we expect to see increase in solar wind speeds on the 23rd and the 24th. I'm sorry, the 22nd and the 23rd. And right now, nothing appears to be happening on the far eastern limb. No new coronal holes. Actually, nothing to be too concerned about, but the only thing that we do have to look at here is in the southern region. I'll go ahead and move that up a little bit so we can have a better look-see. And that right there might graze the southern part of our magnetic field. But other than that, pretty quiet when it comes to solar activity after having a couple of weeks of interesting situations developing on our star. Now let's take a look at the sun minus the stereo B section. Right now we don't have any major active regions since the AR 2740 and 41 just barely turned the western limb of the star. So right now we don't have any sunspots or any major coronal holes to speak of or to warn about at this time. And we'll take a look at our TSI, which today it comes in for May 13, 2019. 1360.61 is our current TSI reading for that date. All right, let's get right into it. We talked about Mississippi a couple different times. This is all tied into why we're seeing all this flooding everywhere in the Delta. But as of May 21st, 2019, the Mississippi River at Natchez, Mississippi, has been above flood stage, 48 feet, for 137 consecutive days. Now, this is well longer than any time since 1927, when the previous record was set of 77 days. So let's soak that in for a minute. No pun intended. 77 days was the previous record, and we are definitely going to approach doubling this length, if not further. The Mississippi River has been above flood stage at Natchez since January 4th, said Marty Pope, a senior hydrologist of the National Weather Service in Jackson. Also Tuesday, May 21st, the Mississippi River reached a projected crest of 57.39. So 48 feet is the record flood stage, all right? 137 days. And we're talking about it cresting almost 10 feet above where it's been sitting at for the past 137 days. The river is expected to stay at the May 21st level for the next 3 to 4 days with little fluctuation before it starts to fall, Pope said. He estimates the Mississippi at Natchez will stay above flood stage through late June and perhaps even in July. So we will smash that record of 77 days and possibly threaten 200 days. Possible. If they're talking about going in late July, that's exactly 60 days from now. We are at 137. Is that what I said? 66 days on top of that. We'll be very close to almost 200 days of that part of the Mississippi being at flood stage. Absolutely sobering when you look at the information like this. And also he wants to note the upper part of the river will go back up again, like around Cairo, Illinois, where the confluence of the two rivers, the Ohio and Mississippi, come together. Adding the rainfall there is expected to have little effect on the river level at Natchez by the time it moves downriver. So again, this is just from the up and down parts of the river being flooded from snow, heavy rain. Moving along other parts of the world, heavy rainfall has been affecting northern, central, eastern, and southeastern Paraguay since the beginning of April. So parts of Mississippi have seen flood stages since January, some March, some February. And we're talking about other regions of the world have been affected by floodwaters since at least April, triggering floods that resulted in casualties and widespread damage. The most affected are Presidente Hayes, Central, San Pedro, Concepcion, Cordilleria, Capital, Asunción, Nimbuku, Bocoran, and Alto Paraguay departments. As of May 20th, the death toll stands at 16. 6 people have died in Presidente Hayes, 5 in Asunción, 3 in Nimbuku, 1 in Concepcion, and 1 in Alto Paraguay. More than 19,000 families evacuated throughout the affected departments. In particular, 12,583 families were reported displaced by the Asunción area, of which 11,000 are hosted in 118 shelters. The same sources report that at least 62,000 families affected across the country as well. The rising water has been cut off to communities of Presidente Hayes and Alto Paraguay, and medical aid have been sent to attend any situation to prevent citizens from more human loss. According to the Institute of Meteorology and Hydrology of May 19, 2019 report, the Paraguay River level is currently in a critic state at 23.7 feet. In Asunción, it's at 22.5 feet. In Rosario, it's in 27.8 feet in Pilar. So, another part of this world, not here in the U.S., but just another region where we have seen heavy rains. This is not a coincidence, folks. Severe floods hit the capital, Bamako, claiming at least 15 lives. The start of the rainy season claimed the lives of at least 15 people, caused significant damage in Bamako, Mali. Flooding streets, floating cars, and injured residents were just some of the things that the city lived through on May 17, 2019. A sudden heavy overnight rain whipped up the capital, Mali, flooded several of its parts up about 8.2 feet high in water. According to First News, it started around 300 UTC and lasted for about 6 hours. Deadly floods have ravaged the West African nation of Mali. Bamako has hit the hardest. Flooding is common in the country, but again, just an all too familiar sight here of flooding and over a long period of time of heavy precipitation. Extremely heavy rain hits Yakushima Island, Japan. 16.5 inches of rain. I don't have to go through this word for word. I will tell you this. There was a rainfall rate of 1.9 inches per hour. And I'm not going to show you this video because every time I show a video from Japan, any kind of Japan media, I always get some kind of weird request to take it down. So you guys can check it out here. The link's in the description. Or go to watchers.news for excellent coverage. But again, they just had similar rainfall in Okinawa, heavy rainfall event on May 13th, where they had 14.4 inches of rain in just 6 hours. So within 8 days, we see a repeat. So where am I going with this, guys? I hate to be a broken record, but these are not the doings of a man-made situation. This is natural. No matter how much climate action that these policymakers out there are going to try to do, it's not gonna help this now, next year, 5 years from now. The flooding all over the world, the point I'm trying to make here is that we never saw this many headlines, and this is just for today. I'm sure I could have found more, but I found 4 today. They're talking about flooding, 100-year-old records being smashed, slaughtered, to say the least. When you're talking about 77 days, it remained at flood stage of 48.3, and now we're talking that we're in the 137th day. It's almost 100% more than the last time, 1927. And all over the world, we're seeing these stories of 16.5 inches, 12 inches of rain, 12 hours, 6 hours, whatever the case may be. You go over here to SPACEWEATHER.com. And you guys, where do we get this information? Why do we keep talking about cosmic ray influx? Let's take a look here. They do a study here at this page that shows us the rate of cosmic rays that we are seeing. They give us a monthly report on the update of the dose rate of radiation that we're getting from these cosmic rays. And they also give us the percentage on how much more of an increase that we're seeing with cosmic rays. Of course, this data goes up from till October 28th. Let me try to see if I can get something more current here. What we were measuring today, this is what they're looking at right now. October, that's not right. Sorry, folks. I should have been a little more prepared. But my point is that we talk about this all the time. You hear us talk about cosmic ray influx. Cosmic rays are highly charged particles that seed our atmosphere and create cloud nucleation. And with water vapor in the atmosphere, because let's face it, folks, 2016 we had an El Nino, so we had a warm spike. All right, puts more vapor in the atmosphere when you have warmer temperatures. It was a fact. We were at 0.88 February 2016. That is part and due to the slightly stronger than moderate El Nino. But that puts more water vapor into the atmosphere, and when you increase your cosmic rays on a weekly, monthly, yearly basis, okay, and these cosmic rays, you have to think of them as they're highly charged particles, and without particles you don't get raindrops or snowflakes. So you have water vapor, you have particulates in the atmosphere already, plus the cosmic rays that are interacting with the particulates in our atmosphere, which is creating these events of 12 inches of rain in 12 hours or 16 inches of rain in 12 hours, or the enormous amount of rain that falls in a quick amount of time is mind-boggling. And I have to get the footage up still to this day, but what we experienced just a couple days ago, Sunday, up here in upstate New York, where the rain was so heavy that we actually had to pull off the road and give it a few minutes so we could actually see again. You couldn't see the car in front of you, even with the tail lights and hazard lights blinking, you still couldn't see it. Don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be right back.
Do you like this show? Give us a thumbs up. Want to support us more? Share to your favorite social media platform, buy a t-shirt, or become a Patreon. All links are in the description below.
All right, so tonight's segment of climate news, I thought this was interesting. We found you guys a video not too long ago where Sky News in Australia had showed us a little experiment. And if anybody knows anything about the atmosphere, we all know that we see 78% of our atmosphere is nitrogen, 21% is oxygen, and then the 0.04% is CO2. And this TV news anchor was trying to explain to the public that they poured an entire bag of rice into the bowl, and then he grabbed a grain of rice and put it on the desk and said, the bowl represents the atmosphere. The grain of rice represents the 1.3% Australian emissions of the 0.04%. Made sense. He was trying to visually show you what 1.3% of 0.04% looks like. Excellent example. So now, thanks to What's Up With That, we found this article here, thinkprogressive.org. And yeah, everyone who is a global warming proponent is sad today. And here's why. It says, we have lost Australian for now, warns client scientist in wake of election upset. Yeah. Their liberal over there in Australia is a conservative. But here we go. The unexpected victory of conservatives in Australia's election Saturday is bad news for the future of global climate action, warns a climate expert. Polls have suggested that the Labour Party, which supports strong climate action, held a narrow lead in recent days, but in the end, Prime Minister Scott Morrison won re-election, and his Liberal Party, which is actually conservative, swept to victory. Australians elected someone who once brought a lump of coal into Parliament, urging us to dismiss the warnings from climate scientists and to dig up more coal instead. Professor Stephen Lewandowski, an Australian cognitive scientist, told Think Progress in an email there is little doubt that his government will precisely do that. We have lost Australians for now, warned the Penn State climatologist Michael Mann in an email. A coalition of small number of bad actors now threaten survivability of our species. Some deep, intense words from Mr. Mann himself. These include the fossil fuel Murdoch media empire, which saturated the country with dishonest right-wing campaign propaganda, working a few petrostates, including Saudi Arabia, Russia, Trump's America, and now Australia. So this Think Progress sounds a little butthurt that Australia has elected or re-elected Mr. Scott Morrison. Rupert Murdoch's grip on Australian media and his support for climate disinformation around the world led one Australian scientist to write in 2011, the Murdoch media empire has cost humanity perhaps 1 or 2 decades of time in the battle against climate change. When you see quotes like that, that is just a Hail Mary pass to protect the lie of global warming and man's effect on climate change. I don't know how many times I've had to tell people in comment sections that I believe in climate change, but I believe in natural climate change. I believe in the sun that drives the climate. How can 0.04% CO2 be the main driver of the climate? It's a trace gas at best. So to me, it's great to see the fact that Australians are voting to keep a guy like Morrison in office. And I had a lot of messages from folks from Australia this year, how they were worried about their party losing the election to the opposition, who wanted to basically bring in the same kind of policies that AOC is trying to promote here in the United States. So we're starting to see a trend now. If you think that the people in the United States, now it'll be really big too if we re-elect Trump after we've seen his stance on EPA and regulations and coal and natural gas, and he's a big proponent of those two. So it'll be interesting to see that if Trump survives a re-election, now we've had 2 country leaders who have been re-elected after their first terms have been exposed with their desire to continue with coal and natural gas, that they continue to ignore these extreme alarmists that talk about man-made climate change. All right. And then you'll start to see other powerhouse countries follow suit. And then what? The public is voting these people in, folks. The global warming jig is up. Let's face it. And now you got to have these butthurt Australian liberal, well, I shouldn't say liberal. Liberal's conservative in Australia, but you got some butthurt authors here who are upset about this guy being reelected because he's not doing enough to make you poor. He's not, skyrocketing your electricity bill because he's not installing all these damn wind turbines and solar fields. He's not dumb, and neither are his supporters. They talk about in this article too how Australia just had one of its hottest summers on record. Well, let's hold the phones here, folks. We've been talking about Australia on this channel and how cold it is already up there, or down there, I should say. In fact, they've gotten temperatures that were, 2 months earlier as far as when it comes to when they should have their cold temperatures. They were getting their midwinter temperatures in the very middle part of autumn. So we will continue to watch, but it's funny, they don't want to talk about how cold it is already in Australia and how we've already seen record snow in certain places. They don't want to talk about that part. They just keep talking about the propaganda, just like the propaganda that's been on NOAA with their latest warmth map, telling the world that we are at 0.93 degrees Celsius above baseline. And that when you look at this map, it's almost every section of this map. It's actually kind of disgusting. Every section of this map is a complete, absolute lie. And when you look at the temperature map, and here, I'll go ahead and bring this up while I'm talking about climate news, because it's propaganda like this Australian website where these folks are trying to be convinced that this conservative party is crazy for having these views on climate change. They're crazy for not thinking that man has something to do with what's happening right now. And I found the map. Wait till you see this, guys. You're going to love this. I posted this on our Facebook page the other day. And let's see here. Do a little ditty here. That's not what I wanted to do, but hey, we'll get through it. So NOAA posted this, and actually Severe Weather Europe on Facebook posted this, and I got a little bit of flack for my comments because I pretty much said this was inaccurate. But let's check this out real quick, guys. And I asked the question, where is NOAA getting their info? The Steele dossier. But I know a lot of you look at this map for April. Now, yes, we did go up 0.10 degrees Celsius above baseline for the month of April. So we did have a slight warming. Slight. But what I find hilarious is these areas that are in white. And I'm talking about right here in the United States. This area right here. No one knows damn well that should be shaded blue. We for the snow that we had up here in the plains, the northern plains, South Dakota, the flooding that we're getting from it now. This boggles me right here too. This arrow is indicating that there is pink in the Northeast and the upstate New York. Much warmer than average temperatures warmer than average. It says April was warmer than average. I can tell you folks, that's a lie. Temperatures here in upstate New York were stuck around in the 30s, 40s. A couple days we were in the 50s. A rare 60-degree day happened maybe 3 times. And I know other folks who were commenting in the comment section on Severe Weather Europe was also complaining from all over the world, not just the United States, Spain, Europe, Italy, Australia. Everyone's complaining. This map is full of shite. So, again, congratulations, Australia. You guys are seeing the truth. And you guys have a news media like Sky News that is not afraid to talk about man's effect on climate change. If we could only get our media to get we got Fox News that kind of dances around the idea that they just don't like the Democrats, so they'll talk smack about the Democrats when they're talking about climate change. So that's the only time we really get Fox News' support, is when some ridiculous Democratic party member proposes a ridiculous climate bill. And the real reason why these people in these news medias that attack these Democrats is because they're Democrats, not because that the information and the science that these lawmakers are using, it's false, it's misinterpreted, and it's fooling the public. And they talk about this guy here in Australia, Scott Morrison, who is deceiving the public, but it's the actual opposite. Look, the people voted him. Just like here in the U.S., people voted Trump. And like I said, it's going to be interesting to see if Trump wins re-election after everybody knows his stance on climate change. And he's come out and said, nobody knows. I mean, really, who knows? To me, for him to kind of come out and say, who really knows? How do you know that man causes climate change? That tells me that he is a skeptic and that he doesn't believe that CO2 or coal or natural gas has an effect on climate change. it's almost like he's surrounded by people who understand differently, and the new science, the new research that we've seen over the past 15 to 20 years is making, like, again, we've heard about this before, guys, in the 70s. We had that mini ice age scare, global cooling and all that. And then the politicians got smart and said, hey, we can make some money on a carbon tax. We can get these folks convinced it's a greenhouse effect. In 1989, global warming was born. And then Al Gore came along and adopted it and, put him in the best school and gave him all the best clothes and the best house to live in. And global warming got really big and strong. But here lately, global warming is being exposed. And when you see re-elections of people like this, Morrison winning, and if Trump wins in 2020, there might be other countries. Look, France, they started their riots, and no one's talking about that right now anymore, which is upsetting. But they started their riots based on a carbon tax. That got thrown out. But citizens of France are like, hey, while we're at it, let's get some other things fixed too. Don't blame me, France. But yeah, so there is starting to become a new trend. More countries are wanting to disconnect from the Paris Climate Treaty. India is the latest country that wants out. Iranians, they wanted out, but they just wanted out because they hadn't got paid yet. So they're jumping out for the wrong reasons. But there's other countries that are saying, wait a minute. They're starting to see what President Trump was saying and why he pulled out, where the bill is going to be put on all these rich countries who don't put as much emissions into the atmosphere like the Russias and the Chinas and other rich countries that could foot part of the bill and not just blame it all on the United States and let them pay for it, basically. So, all right, guys, stick around. We'll be right back.
Do you like this show? Give us a thumbs up. Want to support us more? Share to your favorite social media platform. Buy a t-shirt or become a Patreon. All links are in the description below.
All right, so we'll talk about some severe weather again tonight, once again. Severe thunderstorms, tornadoes, and flash flooding remain threats to the plains into the Midwest into late week. Severe thunderstorms will remain a threat in the plains of the Midwest. Damaging winds, large hail, and tornadoes are possible. Flash flooding will also continue to be a concern. Parts of the Northeast could see severe thunderstorms on Thursday as well. And just to let you know, Sunday was a very eventful day. We had 3 rounds of heavy rain, and 2 of the 3 times we had so much that we had flooded streets and sidewalks. So we continue to monitor that. But this is a broken record, basically, forecast, in my opinion. A particularly dangerous situation, that's a PDS tornado watch. Whatever. Valid until 10 p.m. tonight for southwestern, central Oklahoma, northwestern Texas. This watch includes Oklahoma City, Norman, Lawton, Oklahoma, Wichita Falls, and Texas. A PDS tornado watch is valid till 11 p.m. for southeastern Kansas, central and southwestern Missouri, and northeastern Oklahoma. This watch area includes Joplin, Missouri, Tulsa, Oklahoma. A tornado watch, just a regular tornado watch, where conditions are favorable and likely for tornado development, is going to be for southeastern Iowa, western Illinois, northeastern Missouri. This watch area includes Peoria, Illinois, and Columbia, Missouri. And we see here in the shaded red box here where we are going to be looking at the biggest threat of severe weather. This map was not lit up like it was yesterday. A large tornado was spotted on the ground southwest of city of Oklahoma. Wow, Oklahoma. Early Wednesday evening, prompting the National Weather Service to issue a PDS situation tornado warning for northwestern parts of Okfuskee counties. Okfuskee. Wow. I totally butchered that. Baseball-sized hail was reported in that Okmulgee area. The tornado thunderstorm moved across the area. The National Weather Service, another PDS warning Wednesday for northwestern Rogers, southeastern Washington, and northeastern Tulsa counties in Oklahoma after a large tornado was spotted on the ground near Owasso, Oklahoma. The twister was headed in direction of Collinsville, Oklahoma. Wednesday night's forecast. Tonight, severe thunderstorms, locally heavy rain. Here is where we're looking at it. Now, nowhere near as bad as what we were talking about Monday night. But still, the very likely area, that's strong. That's a very strong possibility that we're going to see Joplin, Tulsa, parts into Missouri where we're going to have some very severe weather tonight. Nothing on the extreme side, but folks, since Monday, and as Mari reported earlier, we were talking about 60 tornadoes at last check since Monday. That's 2 days ago, the 20th. Another round of severe storms will flare up in the plains on Thursday as a new upper-level system punches out of the Rockies, swapped from the West Texas into western Oklahoma, Kansas, southeastern Nebraska, and northwestern Missouri has the greatest chance of seeing severe thunderstorms with large hail, damaging wind, and tornadoes. Localized flash flooding will also be possible from Texas Panhandle northeastward into parts of Oklahoma, Kansas, eastern Nebraska, northwestern Missouri, and Iowa. Parts of the Northeast could also see scattered severe storms, damaging winds, and large hail. Portions of Pennsylvania have the greatest chance of seeing severe thunderstorms as well. And this goes into most of western New York and central New York, upstate New York. And again, Friday, here we go. I mean, the same areas that we just got through on Monday are looking at another severe possibility. Now, this is way, way weaker of a system than what we saw on Monday, but I'm getting ready to show you some here in the GFS, and just I guess I'll get to that here in a second. But here's pretty much a recap of everything that Mari has pretty much went over today in the video that she made. Just crazy weather this week so far, and it's only Wednesday, and we have continuing chances for more severe weather. But this one right here takes the cake. And the other article that I had picked out for this didn't even show the snowfall. It showed a picture of someone looking through a window with raindrops on it, walking with nothing but green in the background, talking about snow, no pictures, nothing. As of 8 a.m. Tuesday, Denver had officially received 3.5 inches of snow. That's the most snow measured this late in May since 1975 when they got 5.6. That's that really wet, heavy snow. In addition to snow, Denver tied the low temperature record May 21st. 31 degrees Tuesday morning. It was 31 degrees this date of 2001 when 1 inch of snow had fallen. In terms of high temperatures, Tuesday they will struggle to reach the lower 40s, making it the second day in a row with temperatures staying 30 to 35 degrees below normal. 30 to 35 days, folks. Look at that tree. It's cold still, and we are almost in June. Here we have areas since Tuesday. Keep in mind, Denver area usually sees only 1.7 inches in May each year. And about half the time we see no snow in May. So this is mind-boggling. Palmer Lake, 12 a foot. Black Forest, 11.3. Elizabeth, 11. Castle Rock, 9. Franktown, 7.1. Lone Tree, 5 inches. Parker, 5.4. Aurora, 4.0. Greenwood Village, 4.0. Denver, 3.4. Johnstown, 3 inches. Boulder, 3 inches. I mean, May 21st, folks. We are 10 days away from being the 1st of June, almost out of the spring season. This is the part of the year where we start to see 60s and 70s widespread. And we're talking about snow. And on the front side of this system, we're talking about severe weather. All quiet tonight in the south. Thank God for Texas, Oklahoma as well, getting a little bit of a break. This is the next 3 days. Not very encouraging if you ask me. Right now we have current tornado watches from Oklahoma through western Illinois, Missouri, parts of southeastern Kansas. Flood watches and warnings up all over central Kansas, near that Missouri state borderline. Texas getting a bit of a break tonight. Everywhere else. Look at the size of this system too, guys. And that's what's heading towards the northeast. So that'll give central New York, upstate New York a chance of some thunderstorms late tonight into early tomorrow morning into the early part of the day. Let's take a look at our GFS real quick. So we'll start here going into Thursday. One thing I want you guys to pay attention to, we're still talking about snow in the higher elevations, Colorado, Utah, Wyoming, Montana, still talking about snow, okay, tomorrow. We're going to move a little bit further in, and that snow kind of intensifies a little bit. More snowfall in Denver possible. Right now it's looking like it's all rain, but the higher elevations, we could see more snow. But while we're looking at the central, we have two low pressure systems that are moving off right now at the same time. One here in the northeast that'll bring rain from Thursday or beginning of early Thursday into parts of Friday. Look at that. Just moderate to heavy stuff. But look at Texas and Oklahoma and Kansas again. And as we go into Friday, another system will redevelop. And look at this. Not the identical path as last time we saw this storm go over this way. Now we're talking just a little bit further north. This is the 25th, Saturday. And that system moves out to the northeast. And then look at this. The next day, another development of heavy to severe weather possible in directly the center part of Kansas. The panhandle of Texas, just moderate showers. Move it forward, it goes more into Missouri, into the Ohio Valley, into the northeast once again by Monday. And then, wow, another wall of moisture from the Dakotas all the way down to the panhandle of Texas. This will continue to move eastward. Now, this is just in 4 days from Friday. And this time, this system will stay mainly to the north. It will not trek the same path that we have seen over and over the past couple days. So it does look like we get a couple days of dry time, and then by the 29th, midweek next week, watch this area once again intensify and develop. Same spots. Same parts that we're looking at just Monday and today and tomorrow. It will be here next week this time as well. There's through the day Wednesday before it goes off into the northeast. Again, this looks like a chance for a mini severe weather outbreak for Wednesday and Thursday of next week. And then we got this cold front sweeping in here in the northern part of the United States. It's trying to make its way down into the lower 48, and it kisses Wisconsin and Minnesota. This is June 1st, folks. We have high pressure dominating, and then back once again near Texas. Also, we got a storm in the Gulf. A lot of things happening here, guys, at the end of May going into June. Watch the Gulf here. I'll move this up so we can see this a little better. But we have something a brewing. We thought it was going to be on the eastern side of Florida. Now we have something approaching into the Gulf. It's going to connect with that low pressure system, kind of get its act together, and boy, does the moisture intensify. And again, more of the same for Texas, Oklahoma. It's not showing intensity right now, but it's still showing the same pattern of moisture redeveloping out of the same spot and continuing to move east into the same areas. Boy, look at this storm here in Florida. This thing kind of hovers around a little while. We got to watch this one. Forget about Andrea. This little low pressure system right here will be in warmer waters by June 4th. And this is way, way out. So you know how I feel about these 15, 16 day forecasts. So I am not going to hang my hat on this yet, but it is a little concerning to see all this tropical moisture kind of just hang around. Parts of Miami could be getting a drenching here. And look, all I'm saying is, as intense as this rain is it sticks around down there in Florida. And we've seen 16 inches in Japan and 14 inches here in India and 16 inches in Mozambique. And just everywhere around the world, we've already seen heavy rain in a quick amount of time. And this storm right now appears to make an impact on the western part of the Florida Peninsula Tuesday, June 4th, into Wednesday, into Thursday, hanging around into Friday. So this could be a 3-day rain event of heavy rain, monsoon rain at this point, if this model holds together. And this is still far away out. Honestly, I think this is where we can stop relying on the model right about here at the first. But I want you to notice, like several times in this forecast, GFS is picking up this pattern over and over again where we have heavy precipitation developing. And guys, this is right over the plains where we're trying to get farmers in the field. A friend of ours at the Grand Solar Minimum, he is a local or a contributor to the channel with footage and updates. Matt out there in Nebraska, I want to appreciate your comments and your close messaging with me. He was telling me about how many farmers out there in his neck of the woods are not going to be able to plant on time. and some of them are struggling to get out in the fields because of all this rain, this constant flooding. Again, guys, we invite comments from our subscribers. We want to hear from you about what's happening in your neck of the woods, especially those of you who are in the South, near the Mississippi, the Delta areas, of course, the flooded out areas throughout Nebraska, South Dakota, Iowa, Missouri, Oklahoma now, and Texas, and Kansas, of course. So lots of areas that are being affected right now. And for those of you in the South who haven't seen much in the form of moisture, your dry spell is going to come to an end here soon. I'd say somewhere around May 29th, we start to see chances returning back to the deep south for chances for precipitation once again. And a lot of that has to do with that tropical moisture coming in through the Gulf, a very slow moving system that goes across the south into the 1st of June and also hangs around for a while. So we'll see what happens on if there will be a pattern flip or not. At this point right now, we are seeing pretty much the same pattern every other day. Every other 2 days, we have a new low pressure system that forms almost in the exact same spot. And yes, folks, June 7th, we are still talking about snow in the higher elevations. What is going on? Are you kidding me? And no one wants people to think that we're still hot and we're continuing to warm? Get out of here. All right, that's going to do it for me tonight. Mari, did you want to say hello to anybody in the chat before we head out of here? I guess I could check temperatures as well, because I kind of want to see what that cold front does at the end of the month. Look at that.
Hi, Jake.
Hello.
Boy, we got some fun people in the chat. Let me just pull up the thing. Bee Friendly Permaculture is sending love from Australia. We have some Australia friends already tuning into us, listening to what you have to say, Jake.
I mean, I don't mean to interrupt you. I know I just have to come over here and say hi, but, we're talking May 25th, and we're still looking at high temperatures in the 50s in the Northwest. And that's, directly to all the moisture that we have, even in the parts where we're like, Kansas and Nebraska, we should be in the 80s by now. And we will get to the 80s by maybe the first week of June when things might start to dry out. I don't know. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
No problem, Jake. Rain, you haven't seen him in a while.
No.
He said he's down in South Carolina now. They had 50...
Getting ready to get a heat wave.
Yeah, well, they had 50 one night, 50, that would be degrees Fahrenheit. And then days later, they have a high of 102. So huge.
That's a huge temperature swing.
Huge swings.
And I didn't mean to neglect that, folks. There is a heat. Well, I've been talking about it for over a week, but there is a heat wave coming to the deep south. Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, Florida. You guys could see temperatures in the triple digits a few times. 105 degrees is the peak temperature right now they're forecasting for parts of Georgia. So something to watch here in the coming days as well, folks.
Thor Valhalla, he said in Maine it's only 49 degrees, which is cold.
Very cold. My heat would be on.
Herb Wag from Wisconsin, North Wisconsin, had 3 to 7 inches of snow last Sunday.
Jeez.
It's melted now. Let's see, what else? Okay, and then Doug said he needs to get a GSM t-shirt soon, perhaps a hoodie, if we're going to start chilling off.
Yeah, right. I need a hoodie myself. I do have a t-shirt. I'll show it off one night when I do a broadcast, but I want a hoodie too, Mari. Father's Day. Father's Day is coming up.
We also have merchandise on Threadless. I think Teespring's printing is better, and right now on Teespring through the end of the month, we do have our promotion. We are offering 20% off GSM merchandise. It's t-shirts, hoodies, mugs, all that.
Just in time for Father's Day. I mean, come on. Who doesn't have a dad out there who's a weather fanatic? So, this would be a great gift at 20% off.
So just use promo code GSMLove. And we also have a little advertisement / flyer to reference in the community tab on our channel. If you need to reference that, the Teespring link and the promo code are right there for you. Let's see what else I got. Jake Green says poor foreign market for clams and oysters in Washington State. They're sharing some prices in the chat. Lady T is going to be moving to, where'd she say? I gotta see here. She's going to start a homestead, and she's thinking about starting to grow bamboo. I don't have it written down. You guys are scrolling too quick for me to keep up.
Bamboo, is she in Texas? Where's Lady T at?
I forgot where she is. I think she's up north, but now she's moving. Oklahoma.
Gotcha.
She's moving too.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's a popular area for bamboo, I guess.
But then David says bamboo in a tornado is not nice.
No,
which I'd have to agree.
And right now, Oklahoma is definitely, before this year started, they were talking about how they believe that the Tornado Alley had moved east. Folks, Tornado Alley didn't go anywhere. In fact, it's right on cue. What we've seen over the last several days, tornadoes in Texas, and Oklahoma, Kansas, that is typical Tornado Alley. So there is no indication in my book that the Tornado Alley has moved east at all.
So, yeah, she's moving from El Paso to there. So
gotcha.
All right. That's all I have, Jake. I'm sure I'm missing a bunch of stuff, but it's late and it's been a little bit
You've had a busy day. You made a great video today on the tornadoes. I encourage everyone to check it out. I actually watched it a couple times a day to kind of help myself understand.
You?
Well, I had to figure out what was going on today.
You're a fan,
Lots of action.
Thank you.
So that's going to do it for us tonight, guys. Please like and share, and also subscribe to our channel here on YouTube. Hit that notification bell to get all the latest updates on grandsolarminimum.com. Check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and our website, thegrandsolarminimum.com. And you will also find our Teespring store at the website as well. That's going to do it for us tonight, folks. Stay tuned. We will be back with another Grand Solar Minimum news update. Until then, we will talk soon, folks. Good night.